Everyone, thanks so much for joining me today. This is Road Leather Certified Career Coach. Welcome back to my channel, your dedicated space for unraveling the intricacies of career advancement, fluctuating job market, and exploring strategies for career success. Our topic today is a comment I get from both students and clients, and albeit jokingly, I think they mean it at some level. So we're doing something a little bit different. We're actually going to do a little bit of a webinar because there's so much information to share. I will be sharing slides to keep us on track. So I've heard many times that they wish that I could be with them when they interview. Well, we know that's not going to happen. So the next best thing for us is to walk through the interview process together so that you can feel or get a feel for what to expect, especially if you're new in your career. Minimizing the unknown will help alleviate some of your trepidations and nervousness about your upcoming interview. So let's get started. All right, to set the scene, we will pick up the process at a point where you have an in-person interview and what to expect when you get there. All right, so let's look at arrival and check-in. What to expect? Well, upon arriving at the interview, you'll check in at the reception desk or security desk and maybe ask for your photo ID. And you'll probably ask to have a seat, wait for a brief period of time. So make sure that you maintain a professional appearance and act accordingly. And imagine that the cameras might be on you because likely there will be cameras around. So how do we prepare for this? Arrive early to account for any delays in your travel. Make sure you have copies of your resume, enough for more than just one person. So I would say maybe a handful. So in case there's going to be a panel, and other required documents that you may have been requested by the interviewer. And make sure that you have something to keep it neat, like a padfolio, a folder, or an envelope, so that you're not carrying them loosely and you look professional. And also, most important thing, make sure your phone is on silent. Okay, next, initial meet and greet. What you should expect. You'll be greeted by an interviewer or a member of the HR team. And this is often very informal. They're going to come up to you, shake your hand, say hello, very small talk. Follow their lead and act accordingly. How do you prepare for this? Well, you're going to greet everyone warmly, make eye contact, make firm handshake, and engage in that small talk. It's probably going to be about the weather. Did you find the place okay? How's your day been? And make sure you wait for the other person to set the tone. Regardless of how casual they may seem, always remember that this is a professional setting, a professional meeting, and act accordingly. The biggest part of this interview is going to be about the questions that they ask you. So let's prepare for that, okay? There's going to be questions that are going to be specific to the industry, specific to the job. You're going to have to prepare and research those portions. But I wanted to prepare you for common questions that you can expect to have to answer. That's what we're going to focus on in this section. Okay. So the interviewer will ask you a series of questions that's designed to extract and assess your qualifications, your experience, your skills, and how well you are suited for the position. And they may also have what's called behavioral and situational questions. When answering behavioral and situational questions, you're going to want to use the STAR method. That is situation, task, action, result to structure your answer. This is to keep you on track and not allow you to ramble. Be prepared to discuss your previous experiences in detail and how they relate to the job for which you are applying. If you need a refresher on the STAR method or need to learn it, see my other recordings in the interview series specific to this method. This is a very common method, and I urge you to understand how to use it for your next interview because it will keep you on track, it will keep it concise and on point. All right, let's move on here. So let's look at commonly asked questions. All right, so the first question that is likely going to be asked, because it's the most common question, it's the most common opening, is tell me about yourself. Now, this question, let's move our slide here. This is not an icebreaker, okay? This isn't just an invitation for you to recite what's on your resume. It's an opportunity to strategically present your relevant career background, your education, and success. More importantly, it's a chance to share your career aspirations and the decisions that have shaped your journey and brought you to this point in front of them. They want to know what has brought you to their company. But there is a catch. The intent of this question is to assess how well you align with the company's mission. So paint a picture of how your career highlights will bring value to their team. You want to convey how you're going to be an asset to their organization, and this is the chance that you have. Be clear about your enthusiasm for the possibility of joining their organization. Demonstrate your knowledge about their company and industry to convey your genuine excitement about working with their team. So this is going to require that you do research prior to this interview. And when I mean research, I'm going to suggest that you research not just by reading the corporate website. You're going to know who their competition is. What is the company's product or service that's being sold? Who is the competition? Where are they in the key players, in the ranking of key players? What is their market share? And most importantly, if there's anything that's been reported on the news or something trending, you must know about it. Again, start thinking like you're part of their team. So let's look at how you should answer this. Start with your relevant career background. And again, we are talking about answering, tell me about yourself. So you're going to start with your relevant career background. Highlight achievements that directly correlate with the role you're interviewing for. And this sets the stage for why you're a perfect fit for the position. So, and also you're going to touch on your education and how you will apply the knowledge that you've learned. Mention any degrees or certifications that are particularly pertinent to the position. If you've undergone specialized training or have unique qualifications, now is the time. Some line of work have requirements as far as certification, specific training. You need to mention that here. Okay. And keep the flow of your answers by sharing your relevant career successes. Highlight how you have contributed to past employers, whether it's leading successful projects, exceeding targets, or any other notable accomplishments. Be specific. Numbers and metrics are so impactful. So when you can, use them. If you have helped improve a process, sales, streamlined a process, if you can get it down to a number of how much you helped improve the process, use that number. You're also going to want to address your career aspirations as how you hope to be a long-time team member. Be authentic about where you see yourself heading because you want more than just this current role. You want to grow with the company. Express your eagerness to contribute meaningfully to their organization as you grow. And then you want to finish your answer by emphasizing again your enthusiasm for becoming part of their team. Okay. The next question that is likely to be asked of you is, why do you want this job? The interviewer is not looking for just a generic response. The interviewer wants to know about your relevant career success, so choose examples that showcase your skills and talents and that illustrate your suitability for the position. They're asking what career goals brought you to apply with their company. Explain that you are looking for an opportunity to contribute meaningfully, and your answers should reflect that. Paint a vivid picture of your unique talents and accomplishments so then they can understand your unique qualifications that separate you from other candidates. So again, your task is to convey that you not only have the proper experience, but also the industry knowledge to understand, plan, and navigate through the challenges of what the industry poses. Okay. So in your answer, demonstrate that you've researched their company, that you understand their mission, and are aware of the company's position in their field by describing something you've learned about them. This is your opportunity to show that you are actually part of their team and are aware of what's happening. When crafting your response, think beyond the surface level. Connect your desire for the job to a genuine passion for what the company stands for and the impact it makes. Why did you choose them? Is it that you believe in their product or service? What was the reason that you felt that your values aligned with them? So by aligning your aspirations with the company's mission, you convey your suitability for the role and commitment to contributing to their ongoing success. Okay, so let's take a commercial break here for a second. If the first two questions we've just covered have brought value to you already, let me know in the comments below. It will help me know what topics are helping you move forward in your career, and it will give me ideas on other topics that I can cover as well. So your questions will likely help others in similar positions. I'd really appreciate a comment below. Okay, next question that we're going to tackle is, what will you add to our team? Or a variation in that is, why should we hire you? These are very common questions that you can expect. So this question shares the same foundation as basically what this is asking is, what value would you bring to us? Your answer will overlap information from the previous questions of why do you want this job? So be careful not to be too redundant with your answer. Touch on maybe 3 points that overlap and then you move on. And as you prepare your response, use this as a chance to not only highlight your matchability for the position, but also to expand your career success. The focus for your answer should be more about you and your understanding of the role that you are seeking. Your task is to help the interviewer see that you understand the job. Share your story authentically, allowing the interviewer to see the passion and dedication that you bring by weaving together the threads of your past achievements and experiences. And because you're not just answering a question, you're painting a picture of the impact that you can make on their team, right? You have value. You want to show them the value that you have, that you will bring to their organization. And this is going to be reflected off of your resume, because your resume should also highlight the value that you brought to previous employers. What were your career highlights, your career wows? That should be on your resume. And this is your opportunity to expand on those. Okay, so the next question that you can prepare for is, what do you know about our company? And this is important. We talked about the importance of researching the company. And this is also to show how vested you are, how interested you are in what they do. So it is key. This isn't just about regurgitating facts that you've seen on their corporate website. It's about conveying that you've done your homework, right? You want to showcase an understanding of their goals, their mission, the competition that they have, the history of the company, and the social responsibility if applicable. They want to know that you understand who they are as a company, right? And that you're not here just for a paycheck. You want to show them that you are interested in becoming an integral part of their team. So start by showcasing your knowledge and let them know how this is an exciting opportunity for you. And then move on to the topic of industry and competition. Illustrate that you're aware of the landscape in which they operate. Highlight what sets them apart from the other companies and why, in your eyes, they stand out from the competition. Why did you choose them, right? If there's competition between Boeing and Airbus and you're applied to Boeing, the recruiters is likely going to ask you, why did you choose them? Same concept here. Understand why you've chosen the company over the other companies. And it does not mean that this is an opportunity to downgrade the competition. They've all met the standards of being good companies. What they're asking is, why in your eyes does our company stand above the rest? Okay, keep that in mind. So this is an opportunity, again, to reiterate, to demonstrate that you've chosen to apply to their organization, not merely because of the job opening, but because you genuinely believe in what they represent. And if applicable, touch upon their history, showcasing an understanding of their journey and evolution as a company. And then, of course, if they take part in social responsibility, if the company is involved in philanthropy or sustainable practices, mention your awareness and express how this aspect resonates with your own values. And then you can close your answer by tying everything back to the position you're applying for Explain why aligning with the specific organization is important to you and how being part of their team is a unique opportunity for your professional growth. But be careful, okay, not to make this about you. Again, this is what do you know about our company? The focus is their company. If you've formatted your answer, you should showcase your knowledge about how they are making a difference and making an impact and express your genuine desire to contribute to their continued growth. Remember, your answer is not just proving that you did your research. It's about conveying a genuine interest in becoming an integral part of their success story. All right, next question, and this is now focuses back on you. What is your weakness? And this is a question that many are challenged with. So let's tackle this. The key here is to choose a weakness that won't hinder the success of the role you're applying for. It must not be one of the required skills necessary for the job. This question seeks insight into your self-awareness and your approach to personal and professional growth. So focus on selecting a weakness that is easily adjusted for continued success, or at the very least, one that won't impede your progress. It's crucial to position yourself as the main focus of your answer, avoiding placing blame on anyone or any organization. The goal is to share a manageable challenge, not a problem that has created significant issues for you. Explain how this weakness has been an opportunity for growth and continuous learning, emphasizing that it's a part of the journey that you've navigated in incremental stages. Acknowledge that looking back, you can see how you've applied the lessons learned and how they have contributed to your personal and professional growth. So as you frame your response, remember that vulnerability can be a strength. Share the steps you've taken to address and overcome this weakness. This not only demonstrates self-awareness, but also highlights your commitment to improvement. So conclude your response by stressing how this experience has positively influenced your approach to challenges and has made you stronger and more resilient as a professional. The key is to present your weakness not as a hindrance, but as a stepping stone in your ongoing journey of growth, illustrating your self-awareness and high level of emotional intelligence. So here's a tip. Now that we've covered the most commonly asked questions, I want you to draft your answer using the tips and guides that I have stated here. Write your answer and then drop it into ChatGPT. Using this prompt, rewrite for improved clarity, flow, and brevity. ChatGPT will organize your statements in a concise, clear, and to the point. Strive for about less than 10 sentences in your answer. We want to be cognizant of the time the interviewer has allotted for us because there may be other appointments behind us, and we want to make sure we cover everything. Okay, so that is the core questions, okay? Now let's move on to the next step of what to expect in the interview. This would be the closing steps, okay? The next steps. So how do you prepare for what to expect when your interview is coming to a close? The interview will conclude with an opportunity for you to ask questions, followed by a discussion of the next steps in the hiring process. What should you prepare for in this section? Well, you want to have thoughtful questions about the company that you can ask about the team or the position. Reiterate your interest in the position and ask about the timeline for the next steps. So let's go over a few questions that you can potentially ask when they ask, do you have any questions for us? And you should always have questions for them because if they've spent half an hour to an hour explaining the position, they want to make sure that you listened. And your way of conveying that you were a listener and interested is to ask questions. So let's look at the first question that you might consider asking. You can ask, what are the key challenges someone in this role would face, and how can I contribute to overcoming them? Okay, this is a good question because the question shows that you're already thinking about how to succeed in the role and are eager to address the company's needs. It also allows you to highlight specific skills or experiences that make you a well-suited candidate to tackle these challenges. Next question. How do you define success for this position? And what are the top priorities for the first 6 months? This question demonstrates that you're focused on making an immediate impact. It also signals that you're proactive and results oriented, and it gives you a chance to align your strengths with the company's expectations. You're showing them that you can hit the ground running and are interested in hitting the ground running. Next question. Can you tell me more about the team I'll be working with and how my role will contribute to the team's goals? This question shows that you're interested in the collaboration and contributing to the overall success of their team. And it also indicates that you're thinking about how you'll fit into the team dynamics, which is important for both you and the interviewer. Now, think about the perspective of the interviewer. The employer has an existing dynamic and assumingly successful team. They are not going to want to add any distractions or anything that's going to impede their success. So they're going to evaluate you to see how well you're going to fit into their team dynamics. All right, let's go on to the next step for what else to expect during the tour or the interview. So now that your interview has come to a conclusion, they may offer a tour of the workplace, or they may not. If they give you a tour of the workplace because there is time, this is a really good sign, because if they've decided at some point already that you're not a fit, they would not waste their time giving you a tour. However, if you don't get a tour, that may be because you've run out of time. So kind of read the room on this one, okay? What you can expect during a tour is that you'll be given a tour of the workplace just to give you a sense of how the environment and the culture is, and just to see how they function. And how you can prepare for this is, well, you really can't. But again, what your role is in the tour is just to observe the environment, take note of their team, and if there is an opportunity to ask questions, if you really need to ask a question. So you want to make sure that the question asked is maybe about the workplace or daily routine, something pertinent to the situation at the moment. Keep your questions brief and relevant. But it's not necessary to ask questions for the sake of asking, because you want to be cognizant of the interviewer's time. All right, so at this stage of your interview, you should be walking out the door, or they're walking you out. But before you do, you want to make sure that you leave with the following information so that you know exactly where you stand. You want to make sure that you have the name, title, and email of the interviewer so you can send a thank you email. You also want to know the time frame of the decision process and if there are other people involved, because that may take the longer time. You want to know when it would be a good time to follow up and ask permission to follow up, and to whom you should be following up with, because sometimes it's not the interviewer. So you want to make sure you get that information. Now, one thing to keep in mind, sometimes they will say, oh, by next week, we should have an answer for you. Sometimes things get in the way, scheduling gets shifted, and it may not really happen. So it is acceptable to ask that if they tell you that they're expecting to make a decision next week and you don't get that call, ask them, would it be okay for me to reach out if I haven't heard by that time? Because I know that sometimes scheduling gets changed, and what realistically, it might take a little bit longer. Would that be okay? And they'll usually will tell you yes. All right. So that is the process of what you can expect going into an actual interview. I hope this has helped you prepare for your interview that's coming up. And if so, let me know in my comments. I'm open to questions. So if you have one that needs an answer before your next interview, drop it below. I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks so much.